Hello, good morning, everyone. And welcome to the October edition of Plateau Tech Talk. This webinar series is proudly organized by the Plateau State ICT Development Agency under the leadership of the Director General, Engineer Dominic Datongwama. My name is Winifred Wang, and it's my pleasure to be your moderator for today's session. I want to welcome our panelists and also our viewers on YouTube. If you are following us on YouTube, kindly like, subscribe, and share so that other people can also join this webinar session while we are just beginning. As many of us know, October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. It is a global campaign dedicated to promoting safer online practices and strengthening our collective digital resilience. In today's world, where so much of our daily lives, from communication, business, education, and governance happens online, cybersecurity is no longer just an IT issue. It is a personal and societal responsibility. Our theme for this month is cybersecurity and you, staying safe online. It is a timely reminder that while technology continues to make life easier, it also exposes us to new risks such as scam, data theft and cyberbullying. The goal of today's conversation is to equip every Plateau citizen, students, entrepreneurs, civil servants, and community members with the knowledge and habits they need to stay safe, smart, and secure in an increasingly digital world. So throughout today's session, our distinguished panelists will share practical insights on topics such as how to protect your personal data online, recognizing and avoiding cyber threats, and the role of citizens, businesses, and governments in keeping Plateau State cyber safe. So whether you are joining us from Jos, from Barkinladi, or anywhere across Plateau State and Nigeria, you are in the right place today. Together, let's make Plateau not just a digital state, but a secure data state. So I want to thank you once again for joining us, and welcome to the October edition of Plateau Tech Talk. So we're just going to go right into our panel discussions for today. But before then, I'll be introducing our panelists. And after which, I'll give each of them just a minute to give us an opening remark. All right, so with me on today's session is Priscilla Iba, who works in the University of Jos, Nigeria, where she leads a team of brilliant ladies in the Cyber Enterprise team. She is currently the treasurer of the Internet Society, Nigeria chapter, and she loves to see women thrive in all that they do. You're welcome, Mrs. Priscilla.
Thank you so much, Winnie.
And next is Mr. Sati Dapel, who is a seasoned computer networking and cybersecurity specialist consultant. He has over 22 years of practical and field experience in the ICT sector. He is widely recognized for his technical expertise, leadership, and commitment to advancing digital transformation within academic and professional circles in Nigeria and across Africa. Before his appointment as Director, ICT Directorate, Plateau State University, BOCOS, Mr. Dapel served as the Senior Network Administrator and Programmer, Assistant Director, Network Administration, Deputy Director, Network and Internet Services, all in the Directorate of the ICT Directorate of the University of Jos, where he contributed significantly to network and infrastructure development, cyber security enhancement, and digital learning initiatives. Mr. Dapel currently serves in multiple strategic leadership capacities, including Acting Chairman, Nigeria Computer Society, Plateau State Chapter, Coordinator, Internet Society of Nigeria, North Central Zone, and He is a Cisco instructor and trainer for West Africa. You're welcome, Mr. Sati.
Thank you very much.
All right, so our last panelist is Ambassador Dr. Abdul Wahid Odewale. He is the Registrar General of the Institute of Cybersecurity Professionals. He holds a postgraduate diploma in cybersecurity from Belhaven University, United States of America, and successfully completed a professional program in cybersecurity conducted by the National Institute of Information Technology, where he was awarded the title of StackRoute Certified Cybersecurity Specialist. Dr. Adewale is a distinguished cybersecurity professional and a distinguished fellow of the Institute of Cybersecurity Professionals. He is renowned for his exemplary leadership, strategic insight, and unwavering commitment to advancing the frontiers of cybersecurity practice and education. You're welcome, Dr. Adewale. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm glad to be here.
All right, so before we proceed to our panel discussions, I'll just give each of you a minute to give an opening remark. So I will start with Mrs. Priscilla.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Very happy to be here. Like you have said, October is more or less a cybersecurity awareness month. So I'm glad that this webinar is taking place. I hope that we can take one or two things back. And I'm also here to learn. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. We're happy to have you here as well. Mr. Sati, over to you, please.
Okay, sorry about that. Hello, everyone. I'm really happy and excited to be here. Glad to be with you today to share a little idea and to rub minds so that we'll all be part of learning. I'm also here to learn, to add to my wealth of knowledge. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sati. Dr. Odewale, over to you, please.
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity, distinguished guests, colleagues, and digital defenders. Of course, today we gather not just to celebrate a victory, but to honor a mindset, one that values vigilance, responsibility, and the power of knowledge in our digital age. So I'm glad to be here, and I believe that this discussion will have far-reaching effects and also inspire each and every one of us to be defenders of the cyberspace. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Adewale. So if you're just joining us on YouTube, you are not late. We are just about to begin our panel discussion on the topic, cybersecurity and you, staying safe online. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share so that other people can benefit from this impactful session. As you have already heard, our panelists today are people who have experience and expertise in the field of cybersecurity, and they'll be sharing from their wealth of knowledge with us this morning. All right, so we'll just go right ahead to our panel discussion. And my first question today will be for Mr. Sati. So when we hear the word cybersecurity, many people think that it is a technical term and it is for experts in the ICT sector. But I would like you today, in simple terms, to tell us what cybersecurity really means, so that people who are not technically inclined can have a better understanding.
All right. Thank you very, very much for the question, and thank you for inviting me to be part of this historic event. Well, in simple terms, what does cybersecurity really means? It simply means protecting your digital life. As simple as that. It's the practice of keeping, your computers, your phones, your data, your information, your online activities. Is a way of keeping it safe from those who want to steal this information, those who want to damage this information, those who want to, let's say, misuse this information. So just as we lock our doors, at home to prevent thieves, cybersecurity is about locking our digital doors. It's about using passwords. It's about using antivirus. It's about being safe online. Online activities has been now our habits. It's a daily habit that we use every day. It's a lifestyle. And so we need to ensure that the information we put out there, the information we get from online, all this information are very safe, especially when we are connecting to a very global digital world. So in simple terms, that's just what it means. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sati, for this elaborate explanation of what cybersecurity is. All right, so I just to build up on this question that you have answered. Many people think I don't have anything hackers. And is this true? And why should everyone care about protecting their data?
Okay, am I to answer still?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, like I said in the introduction, when we're defining cybersecurity, you see, it's a practice of protecting our data. And the question, like you asked, why should an average person, why should anyone, just want to, protect his data, and why should we be interested in securing our data? Someone who uses WhatsApp, somebody who uses Facebook, somebody who has an email and uses email should care about cybersecurity. Someone who browses the internet, someone who manages an organizational data or information, somebody who is a custodian of institutional repository should care about cybersecurity. Because cyber criminals actually are people who go about this information. They go looking for this data, because data these days is gold. So not just computers, they're not just after computers, they are also about the information that you keep on those particular computers. So whether you are sending money online, whether you are chatting with your friends, or whether you are storing pictures or photos, or whether you have valuable information on whatever device you have, and whatever that you value, that you cherish, all right, it's a target for cyber criminals. So just a simple, careless click on the website or a careless click here and there can lead to your bank account being emptied, all right? Your WhatsApp being hacked, your identity being stolen. Cybersecurity is not for experts only. It's for everyone that owns a phone. It's for everyone that has any digital device. It's for anyone that makes use of the digital environment. So if you use the digital environment, yes, absolutely, cybersecurity is for you. It's not only for those who go to study cybersecurity and things like that. So, and I think that is why this awareness and this program is very, very apt, because our society is growing digitally. And the awareness for the use of digital tools is also very increasing by the day. The use of these digital services in our everyday life, in the banking or the financial sector, in the institutional or the educational environment, in the manufacturing industry, in the business environment, in fact, in everywhere. So I think that is why it's for everyone, not just for professionals. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sati. So it is quite clear that as long as you have an online presence, you have a social media account, or you use the bank app for financial transactions, you should care about your online safety.
Yes.
All right. So my next question is going to be for Dr. Odewale. In your experience, what are the biggest cybersecurity challenges facing people in our communities, especially small business owners?
Yes, thank you very much, Mrs. Priscilla. That's a very great question and a vital one. You know, small business owners in Nigeria actually face a unique set of cybersecurity challenges. You know, some of these challenges stem from both global threats and local realities. Here, but I mean, this is a breakdown of some pressing issues, some top cybersecurity challenges for small Nigerian small businesses. The first challenge is, limited awareness and training. You know, many entrepreneurs and their staff actually lack basic cybersecurity knowledge. You know, like phishing, social engineering, and scams often succeed simply because people aren't trained to spot them. You know, that's one very important aspect. Then the second challenge is the area of inadequate infrastructure. You know, when you use outdated software and hardware, which makes businesses vulnerable to attacks, you know, that is also another challenge, like poor internet security setups. For example, like unsecured Wi-Fi, lack of firewalls are common. These are some of, cybersecurity challenges facing our communities. Small businesses in our communities. And when you have low budget for cybersecurity, you know, cybersecurity is often seen as a luxury rather than a necessity. Small businesses rarely allocate funds for tools like antivirus, you know, tools like encryption, or even secure backups. Then there's the rise in sophisticated attacks. You know, cyber criminals these days are beginning to use AI and automation to launch smarter, more targeted attacks. You know, the case of like ransomware and data breaches, these are increasingly affecting SMEs, not just large corporations. Then when we look at another challenge, which is that of weak regulatory framework. You know, weak regulatory framework has to do with when Nigeria, you know, like Nigeria has cybersecurity laws, you know, but of course, enforcement is always inconsistent. You know, many businesses operate without compliance checks or guidance. These are, you know, other challenges. We have the challenge of also shortage of skilled professionals. You will agree with me that there's a significant gap in cybersecurity talent across the country. You know, small businesses struggle to hire or consult experts who can help secure their systems. These are other challenges. And of course, there's also digital transformation without security. You know, businesses go online through e-commerce, mobile apps, or digital payments. They often skip security planning. And of course, this opens doors to fraud, identity theft, and data leaks. These are some of the challenges. But of course, it is also important to talk about what can be done. When we look at the challenges, facing the cybersecurity challenges facing people in our communities, especially small business, we should also talk about what can be done. The first thing that can be done is the area of education and training. We should have regular workshops and awareness campaigns. And of course, this can even empower business owners and staff. You know, we should also use affordable tools like leveraging free or low-cost cybersecurity solutions. For example, like password managers, and even cloud backups can make a big difference. Another thing that can be done is the use of community collaboration. Like local business networks can share resources, tips, and even pool funds for better protection. And the aspect of government and even NGO support, there should be more structured support from public and private sectors, which can actually help to bridge the gap in funding and expertise. So cybersecurity isn't just a tech issue. It is a business survival issue, because if you are thinking about how to help your community or your own business, these are some of the things that we should put into consideration. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for this elaborate explanation. Okay, so my next question is going to be for Mrs. Amaka Priscilla. So many people, especially in this era of social media, many people share a lot of personal information online without thinking about it. Why is this risky, and what are the possible consequences of sharing your information, a lot of personal information online?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Before I answer it, I just wanted to add one thing to what Dr. Dewale spoke about, and that is fake alerts. That is one thing that I've personally seen that happens a lot to small businesses as well. I see a lot of fake alerts that happen, and these small businesses, either they are somehow overcrowded or sometimes they don't confirm transactions either with their banks or using their apps. They quickly just probably send out the product before they realize that they have been scammed and realize that maybe the alert they use is a fake alert. So that's one thing I just wanted to add to what he has spoken about. So back to my question about sharing personal information. In Nigeria, I think we overshare a lot of our details, and we share personal information in a whole lot of places. We do not have one single, single database that every other organization can plug into and pick our details. We overshare a lot of our details. A simple example is like when we travel, like by road, we fill these what do we call them? Manifesto, where you have your names, your phone numbers, the name of your next of kin, the phone number, your address, even, and all of that. Sometimes I wonder, I know it's also for their own security reasons, but sometimes I wonder, like, okay, when you get to your destination safely, what happens to those details? They could throw it, somebody could pick it up and use that information for whatever they are using it for. But these are like places that you share data, and sometimes you don't think that, okay, this data that I'm putting here, what is it going to be used for after this? Sharing personal information is very risky. Things like SIM swap could happen, where people could use your details, like your phone, if they have your details of like your phone number, your date of birth, maybe your BVN, things like this that you've shared one way or the other. They could go and convince, telecom organizations to say, okay, I'm the owner of the SIM. I probably misplaced my SIM. And that will make them to swap the SIM and make that person the owner of your SIM. And then they could start doing bank transaction, getting your OTPs and changing all the details that happen. We see things like, I know we're in lots of WhatsApp group where we see people post and say, please, if you are contacted from this person asking for funds or asking for any form of funds, please don't respond. I am not in charge of my WhatsApp, or I don't have access to my WhatsApp for now. And these things happen because somehow the fraudster have gotten some personal information from us, and they have used it, manipulated it, and used it to get access to our social media. Also things like Facebook scam, social media scam, financial scamming can happen. And we also see same thing that happened on WhatsApp. We see that often happen on Facebook, where people take over your accounts on Facebook. And sometimes you will not even, at the end of the day, you may not be able to even recover your Facebook. So you see people putting out disclaimers, and that's even those that they have noticed that things have happened to their account, and that's also those that know the next step to take in cases like that, because there are people that do not even know the next step to take. So you see people post and say, please, if you see a post from Facebook asking for some form of financial assistance, please do not respond. Another risk, which is very, 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 very prevalent in Nigeria, is the physical security risks that you also face. We know that we have a lot of kidnapping cases, robbery cases, and some of these kidnapping cases happen because we have shared personal information that should not have been online, or you're just sharing your success story or sharing information that you think you are just sharing, but somebody is picking up that information and seeing another opportunity out of it that you probably did not think about. So you could be posting, something good that has happened in your life, and somebody else is coming to say, okay, we'll come and take a part of it and come and steal from you or something. So the physical risk is also there. You post this information, some people go and find out where you live or where you stay, or how they could block you or your movement. Posting some kind of personal information is really, really risky. I know of a lady online who has shared, she's a Snapchat user, and she shares her life. So she's always doing like live Snapchats. So people could see where she is at the time, at her current location at that time, because she's posting live videos. So she goes out to eat at nice places. She goes out to shop at nice places. And unfortunately for her, she was targeted by some kidnappers or robbers. And what they did was to target her and trace where she was, eating at a place. And when she was about to leave, they quickly wanted to attack her. But luckily for her, she quickly noticed, and then she called the attention of people, and then those people were arrested. I also know somebody who also does that. And what they did was to order, I think the person ordered Uber Eats online. The person is in France, so she ordered Uber Eats online, and they came to deliver the food. So she had posted that she's waiting for her food. So those people had already have that information that this lady is waiting for her food. So they came and announced that they are from Uber Eats and they are here to deliver her food, not knowing that they are criminals. So things like that, there are different risks that happen when you share personal information online. So those are like some of the risks, according to your question that you said, what are the risks that exist? So those are some of the risks. There are physical risks, there are targeted scams and frauds that could happen. So we really, really have to be careful the kind of information we post online. Your personal information should stay personal. And that's why it's called personal information. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Priscilla. So we have seen that oversharing our personal information on social media, online, it does not just pose online threats to our lives, but also physical threats. So we have to be very careful. So I just want to build up on what you have said, Mrs. Priscilla. Talking about online scams, there are a lot of, especially broadcast messages that people send online to WhatsApp, to Facebook, telling people that they have won a grant or they should apply for a particular grant. And we see people falling victim to this kind of scams. So I know I've been on WhatsApp groups that I've had to be the one to say, no, don't do this. This is scam. That is because I am knowledgeable. But now, how can young people and how can citizens be able to spot these scams and protect themselves from such scams, fake links, and identity theft? How can they see like a broadcast message and know that, no, this is scam, I should avoid it?
Thank you very much. Exactly. We are all in groups where we have seen those kind of messages pop up every time. You will see, click this link for this, click this link to claim your federal government is sharing 1 million naira subsidy, or federal government is sharing this, click this link to register. First of all, and they will tell you, first of all, how to spot those kind of things. They are always, it's social engineering at the end of the day. They are always either in a hurry or there's always like a timeline. Click this quickly to claim this. If you don't do this within the next 24 hours, or they just put a timeline to make you feel like it's rushed. It's a rare opportunity. If you don't tap into this, you miss out. And it's always juicy. And it's always something free. You don't have it looks like you're not losing anything the way they engineer this whole thing. So things like that, how to quickly spot them. If it's from federal government, of course, whatever federal government is that's doing something like that, let's just assume, let's say they are doing a youth empowerment something, and they say click this link to get 50,000 naira for youth empowerment. There's a ministry, or there should be somebody, or there's an organization that should be in charge of that, and they should have a website, and they should have that information there. If it's a legitimate, I think maybe not all organizations in Nigeria, but like 90% of organizations in Nigeria should have a standard working website where you put out those kind of information if it's legit. So for those kind of things, you should have a legitimate government website that have that, where you can click and do what you need to do. It's a legitimate website. We also see things like job scam that happen. Unfortunately, we've lost a lot of people through job scams. I've seen a lot of stories. I've heard a lot of stories online where they use job scam to like kill people, to lure people to a building or to a location where they are either killed or kidnapped, or they had to lose their money, or they had to pay to something negative or terrible. Things like that. If it's a job opportunity, go to the company website. They have websites. They should put it there under their careers page or something like that. These are ways you can use to check. Another way to spot is ensure that the URL that you are checking, because they post these links, the links that you are clicking. In fact, do not even click. First of all, there's how you can hover over the link, and then, because some of those links redirect you to somewhere else, so there's how you can hover over the link and it will show you where that link is actually going to. So from there, you'll be able to know that this may be fake or not. Also, some of those links, you have to be sure that, it's SSL, it's secured, it has the HTTPS as against the HTTP. Some also misspell, but that misspelling is in a way that you will not easily catch it. They will just change one letter. Let's assume it's firstbank.com. They can change the T to 1 or L, and it's not something you will just easily see if you are in a hurry, or if you are not patient to look at the URL very well. So you have to sometimes really take your time to look at those URLs and before you click on them. Also, if it's sounding too good to be true, I know there are a lot of investment scams that we faced in Nigeria. There's one that happened recently where we had a lot of victims in Nigeria. They will say, invest 20,000, you get 400% in the next 2 weeks or 1 month. It's very sweet. It's a very good deal. Everybody loves money. And everybody's like, just do it before we all know in Nigeria that they will crash. But what we'll tell you is just do it before they crash. Do you know when they will crash? You don't know. Because I've actually been a victim, to be honest. I was a victim of MMM. I was a victim of MMM. Unfortunately for me, this kind of platforms, when I join it, is when they are crashing. So I've told myself, I will never, ever, 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 ever invest in things like that. The last one that crashed, I've forgotten the name. Somebody might know it here. A colleague of mine was saying, join this, so do. It's guarantee. I know someone that's been doing for 1 year. He kept pestering me because I think when you use their link, they give them a commission or something. So just to tell him off, I said, okay, send me your link. Unfortunately, that same night, that same day, because he told me some this in the daytime. At night, that whole thing crashed, and it affected a whole lot of Nigerians. So if it's too good to be true, if the reward is so huge, or if the money, if what they are telling you is too, it's most likely fake. Also, like I've said, check the URLs carefully. They could just be misspellings. Things like First Bank, let's assume First Bank URL is firstbank.com, or GT URL is gtbank.com. Somebody can go and create another URL is guaranteebank.com. It's the same, it's the name of the bank. But because maybe you don't know, or you're just, maybe that day you're just stressful, you're not just settled somehow. We can all fall victims of this, honestly. Also, I would say for all of our accounts, whatever accounts we are using, whether financial transaction, whether our email accounts, whether WhatsApp, social media, our social media account, always activate multi-factor authentication, not even two-factor at this point, multi-factor, multi-layers of factors of authentication before you could access that account. Things like that. Let's try our best to ensure that we are safe. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mrs. Priscilla, for this elaborate response. So it's very important that we are careful and we do our research before, we fall for any of these online scams. All right. So my next question, just to build up on what Mrs. Priscilla has said, is for Mr. Sati. What are some everyday online actions that we do as individuals that can make us unknowingly vulnerable to hackers or scam? Sorry, I know you have to be somewhere else, but we'll appreciate if you can just respond to this, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Everyday online actions that can make people unknowingly vulnerable. Like what the previous speaker said, Ms. Priscilla, clicking suspicious link or downloading attachment from unknown senders. You check your mail and then you see an attachment, you don't know the sender. And if you're a lady, they say you have a secret admirer, click here to view the person. And then ladies are prone to check that. If you are a guy, they say, congratulations, you have won 1 million naira, Naija bet. And then you did not participate on anything, but they say, click here to claim your prize. And things that we are not sure of. We don't know a sender or we don't know the link. It's always good to avoid it. Another thing is using weak passwords or using the same passwords for all our accounts. It's like your ATM card. A lot of people use their date of birth as their ATM card PIN. Some people use their date of marriage or their anniversary. Or some people use maybe their children's date of birth. Or they usually use the numbers that is easy for them to remember. And in terms of passwords, the same password you use in your Facebook account, some people use probably their phone numbers, is the same you use in your email, is the same you use in your online accounts and things like that. If your password is weak, a strong password should have at least an uppercase, a lowercase, a number, a special character, and at least should be like 12 characters, 10 to 12 characters minimum. It's always encouraging that you can use a phrase as your password, you can, instead of just a word, you can use a phrase, So using weak passwords can make us very vulnerable to hackers. Another thing that can make us vulnerable to hackers is when we share too much personal information on social media, like the last speaker rightly said. Social media has become our life now, and everything we are sharing it. Dubai things, you don't do a selfie. Eating things, you now do a selfie. This one, you now do a selfie. Now, for your information, there are AI algorithms that can figure out your daily pattern based on the kind of information you frequently put online. Okay, you put too much information on social media, somebody can use an algorithm to figure out your daily pattern, and because of that, you can be very, very vulnerable. Okay, another one that is very, very common is people are interested in free Wi-Fi. You go to the airport, free Wi-Fi, you are in a hurry to connect. You go to the campus, free Wi-Fi, you are in a hurry to connect. In your neighborhood, somebody just free Wi-Fi, you are in a hurry to connect. You see, anything that is free is like you throw a fish hook into the sea, and a fish that is get caught up is the one that wants to take that free food. So free Wi-Fi does not necessarily mean free all the time. There are instances that is legitimate, but in a good number of times, somebody just wants to get information that is yours. Usually they connect to a threat actor, and the threat actor is going to now harvest either your login details or your device information, your MAC addresses, your IP addresses, or your browser cache. As you use the internet, there's a lot of transaction that is going in. And once any of your packet is intercepted, if they intercept your packet and it is not encrypted, we have a lot of packet sniffers nowadays. And if you are using an unencrypted sniffer, it becomes a problem. So, and you get all this when you're connecting to free Wi-Fi. Another one is when you ignore, what do you call it, updates. You don't want to update your app. You don't want to update your operating systems. In most cases, we like to buy free things. You want to crack your operating system. You want to crack your office tools. You don't want to pay for the licenses. The advantage of the licenses, it gives you ability to get updates, patches and updates. So if you don't update your what do you call it, your apps, your devices, you don't update them frequently, then you tend to have, you are very vulnerable to it. You understand? So these are just but a few daily activities or engagements that we do, or habits that we do, that we don't think it's something serious. You just share your information with anybody. You are using your laptop and you are getting up from your desk to go somewhere. Instead of you to lock up your screen, you leave it open, and then somebody just can come in and take in whatever information they want to take. So these are just but a few. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sati, for bringing this to our knowledge. So it's good that we are very careful with how we use the online space. And just to build up on your question before you leave, I would like you to share with us, maybe in simple terms, what are some of these precaution measures that we can put in place, or habits that we can adopt to ensure that we stay safer online?
Okay, thank you very much once more for this question. Now, like I said, using strong passwords and then enabling your two-factor authentication is a very good habit. All right, it's a very good habit. Ensure that your passwords are good. Don't use the same password across board. Yeah, because you have a fear of forgetting your password, and so you will use the same password or a pattern of passwords. All right, so don't use that. Don't use old passwords. All right, and then always ensure that you also use two-factor authentication. Is very, very important. That there's also a mentality that I always say: think before you click. Okay, any message that you see, whether on WhatsApp, whether on email, or whether in whatever it is that contains a link, think before you click. okay? And always look at the domain. Look at the domain. If federal government is doing bonanza, the domain should have .gov. Excuse me, sorry. The domain should have .gov.ng. If it is a federal government listening. If it is a bank or a financial institution, ensure that the link contains the main domain of that institution. And you can always verify. It's not something too big. You can verify in a second or two. Okay? Make sure that you think before you click. If somebody now calls you and tells you, you are a member of this group, we're supposed to have this particular meeting. We want you to send us a code. We'll send you a code. Just send the code to us. For goodness sake, if I'm joining a meeting, why do I need to send you the code? You have to think before you click. Okay? Any of things like that. Don't give your NIN, your BVN, don't put some of those information online. Another thing, like I said earlier, make sure that your phones are updated. Your apps are updated. And it's not every app that you download on your phone or you download on your system. You have a system, only install what you are going to use, what you are sure of and you're going to use. That's what you're going to install, whether in your app or on your phone. Okay? And sharing of your personal information or your personal life, you have to contain it. Contain it. Identity theft is a serious thing. Somebody can clone your identity, somebody can pick up your details and become who you are, who is not. Okay, so don't give personal information, too much personal information out there, especially the unnecessary one, in the name of I'm looking for engagement, I'm looking for followers, I'm looking for this and that and that. All right. Another thing that helps is that ensure that you back up your information. Right? Make sure that you're using cloud storage or cloud facilities that you can back up your data, back up your information. These days, you have a Google Drive, you have a Microsoft OneDrive, you have a lot of online, you have Dropbox, you have all this cloud storage, such that once you save something on your phone or you save on your system, it's synchronized. So if tomorrow you lose your device, you can always remotely format the device to protect your data, okay? And then also ensure that if something sounds too good to be true online, it possibly isn't true. If it's too good to be true online, it possibly isn't true. So cybersecurity begins with awareness, and you don't need to be an expert. Just be alert, just be cautious, and just stay informed. And that way it will help you. We are very, very fond of our social media on our fingertips. We're very, very fond of it. But we have to be careful. Your Facebook, your Instagram, your YouTube account, all those things. You will have people trying to send you friend requests every now and then. And because you are just looking for followers, you will just be accepting everybody's friend request, not knowing that it can link you up with a very big problem in the nearest future. Okay, so I think those are the few words that I can add. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sati, for your time. I think if there's anything we can take from here is think before you click. Don't be in a hurry to click on links that you see, and also be very cautious. So if you're just joining us on YouTube, this is the October edition of Plateau Tech Talk, where in commemoration of Cybersecurity Month, we are having this webinar on the topic cybersecurity and you staying safe online. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And we may have to excuse Mr. Sati, who has another meeting. He may not be able to stay to the end of this webinar with us. All right, so moving forward, we have been talking a lot about personal information. So I just want us to build up on it, because some people may still not be so sure what exactly is this personal information. that we have been talking about. So I would like to address this question to Dr. Adewale. What is personally identifiable information? And can you give us some examples of the kind of information that people should never share about themselves or others on the internet?
Yes, thank you very much. I think I must apologize a little. My camera has been acting funny, but at the same time, I will just do my best to treat this question very extensively. This is one of the most important digital habits to understand, in today's hyper-connected world. What is personally identifiable information? We also call it PII, personally identifiable information. It actually refers to any data that can be used, to uniquely identify or contact or locate a person, either on its own or when combined with other information. Any form of data at all that you can use to uniquely identify someone or locate someone. It's actually we can also call it the digital fingerprint that makes you, and it's a prime target for identity thieves. It's a prime target for scammers. It's also a prime target for cyber criminals. That's data that can be used to uniquely identify you. And examples of this sensitive PI that you should never share online. We have what we call direct identifiers and we have indirect identifiers. We should never share them. The direct identifiers are the ones that can identify you immediately. Identify you immediately, such as your full name, your home address, your phone number, your email address, your national ID number, your NIN, that is even like your passport or driver license number, your bank account or credit card details. These are your direct identifiers. These are examples of sensitive PI that must never be shared online. Now, what about, now let's look at the examples of indirect identifiers. This can be, pieced together, can be put together to identify you. Examples of them like your date of birth, your place of birth, mother's maiden name, employment details, school or university attended, sometimes even photos with location and metadata. Then there are some very highly sensitive data that comes under PII. Very highly sensitive data like medical records, biometric data, which has to do with your fingerprints or facial scan. Your login credentials like usernames and passwords, and even your security questions and answers. Security questions can be used to change your passport. Security questions and answers can be used to change your passports, for your account. And why does all this actually matter? Why do they really matter? When you share, during sharing, even sharing what seems like, harmless information, like your birthday or pet name, it can help attackers guess passwords or even answer security questions. So posting someone else's PII without their consent, that is not just risky, it can be illegal and it is deeply harmful. So just like what Mr. Sati was talking about, the house and the keys, you think of PII too like your house keys. So you wouldn't hand them out to strangers, right? You wouldn't give out your house key to strangers. And online, it is just as important to lock these things down. So if you want to, these are some of the things we need to know in a very nutshell. And of course, talking about oversharing, not to share, these are some of the most important aspects. The PII, direct identifiers, and even indirect identifiers, and even sensitive data that should not be shared. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for this explanation. So it's good that we are careful the kind of information that we give out there. Let's not always be in a hurry to fill out forms with our information without verifying the source or where this data is going to or where it will be used. All right, so we have a very high percentage of young people and teenagers who are coming into the online space. They have access to social media, they have access to the internet. So this question is for you, Mrs. Priscilla. How can we create awareness for parents, or what advice would you give to parents who have young children about ensuring that their children and their teenagers stay safe online and they use the internet responsibly?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. For parents, I would say for young children, just use simple rules or use things within the home to like describe, just like Sati had said about the closing of door, and it's a very simple and everybody can relate to it. If you're teaching your children, if you come back from school, close the door, make sure you don't open doors to strangers, or make sure you don't accept eat food from strangers. Simple things like that. You could use that same analogy to describe to children, like, okay, if your children have access to the internet, do not maybe accept friend requests from people you don't know. Only your friends online should be people that you really truly know. Never share your details with people. If anybody is asking you for information or details that you don't know, please come and tell mommy, come and tell daddy, let me know who is asking you for this information. Don't give it out until I've approved. Also for parents, if your children are using devices, you have to supervise that device. I know there is YouTube Kids, so you can enable that parental control to ensure that your children are not viewing what they are not supposed to view. Even for television, watching things on TV. I know DSTV also have parental control that you can enable to ensure that they are not viewing what they are not supposed to view. Then you can also make sure that you have good communication with your children, because that's the environment that they'll be able to be free. They will be free to tell you, anything. And they will know that, okay, they are not getting into trouble. I must not hide this from my mommy. And let me tell my mommy, it's not like my mom is not going to beat me because of this. So if you have that good communication with your children, they should feel free to come and also tell you when they feel harassed online, or people are talking to them online that are not supposed, or asking for information online that they're not supposed to. Also, you can show them, like I've said, using analogy. You can ask them information or ask them things, using things to say, okay, what do you think about this? Or what do you think? Is it good that you are telling people about this? Is it good you are telling people we live at number so and so online? And then telling them the implication, like if you tell them this is what could happen, or things like that. Also, and letting them know that anything they do online leaves a digital footprint. It's almost impossible to delete your digital history online. It's almost impossible to like delete whatever thing that you've posted online, because even if you deleted it and there's someone that has probably downloaded it and kept it somewhere to use for another time or a number of years later. So digital footprint is very important, letting them know that whatever it is they post today can always be used, either against them or for them. So you can post things that are not good, or that doesn't create a good image of yourself, and tomorrow you're grown, you're looking for a job, somebody can refer to that like this is this person. So letting them know that your digital footprint is almost impossible to delete. Do you understand? Then as well as consent and respect, you also have to teach your children how to be respectful, or your young adults how to be respectful to people online, how they need to seek consent when you're doing things with them. If you need to share somebody's image, you need to seek consent. You need to be respectful the same way you're respectful to people offline. Show that same respect to the same people online. Don't, comment negatively. It's better to not comment at all than to leave a negative comment. So things like that, also explain financial literacy to the children or to the young adults with you. How I know now everything is people shop online and all of that. So teaching them how to be smart while shopping online as well, teaching them how to be conservative as well, things like that. You can also teach your children how to, let's assume they're looking for scholarship, ensure that they are going to the right sites to check for those kind of scholarships, to the right schools, to the correct website, and not just clicking on anything or believing anybody online that is saying we offer scholarships. So. There was a time I know of in fact, this had happened to me at a time where somebody had said they are offering scholarship to people in Canada and whatnot. And they are willing to offer scholarship and jobs and things like that. All you needed to do was pay a certain amount. And then if it doesn't work, they will refund your money and just keep maybe like 5% for like overhead cost and whatnot. And it seemed quite genuine until another person reached out to me to say, okay, I saw your comment on this post to say that you're interested. Be very careful. These people may be into organ harvesting when you go out or things like, because I've heard of stories where people believe these people, when they go outside, they're either used for sex slaves, organ harvesting, different kind of things. So letting the children with you, the youths around you, the people around you, the young adults around you, know like the risk of things like this, it's very, 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 very good. Also, I know a lot of young people play a lot of games. So for them to also be careful when clicking the links to download things like that. Or some people don't even download, they will share it using maybe Zenda or what, and you don't know what you're sharing with the other person. So you have to be very careful. Like Sati has said, think before you click. Things like that, I think is very important for teaching the children, or teaching for the parents to know how to teach the children or young adults around them about things like this. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So as parents have to, supervise what their children do online, and they also have to keep educating them to ensure that they are not falling victims to these scams. All right. So, Dr. Odewale, earlier on, when you were talking about some of the challenges that we face in, cybersecurity, you talked about policies and frameworks. So I just want to know, in your view, what policies or frameworks are most critical to ensuring data protection and digital trust in Nigeria?
Yes, thank you very much. Let me start by saying that Nigeria actually has made some significant strides, in building a foundation for data protection and digital trust. But yes, there's still a long road ahead. That's what we should not forget. So, but here are some most critical policies and frameworks that should shape the landscape and why they matter. For example, number one, the Nigeria Data Protection, NDPA 2023. This is actually a very, this is the cornerstone of Nigeria data protection regime. And we know that the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, and it's actually a regulatory framework and a regulatory authority, because the Act outlines, principles for lawful data processing, and of course, it outlines rights of data subjects and obligations for data controllers and processors. So of course, the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, its guidelines and compliance framework provides, guidance on registration, audits, and even enforcement. It also promotes a culture of what do you call it? Privacy, through initiatives like the Virtual Privacy Academy, DPCOs. There's another aspect again, which is the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy. National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy, NEPS or INDEPS. It is actually led by the Federal Ministry of Communications and the Digital Economy, and it focuses on building trust in digital platforms, building cybersecurity and even digital illiteracy. Digital literacy. These are some of frameworks for data protection in Nigeria. And of course, we also have cybersecurity strategy. Nigeria's cybersecurity strategy actually aligns with global standards. And this is actually meant to protect critical infrastructure and digital assets, because it emphasizes collaboration between government, private sector, and civil society. Even though we are still coming up, but of course, we are gradually making progress in terms of cybersecurity strategy. Like we at the Institute of Cybersecurity Professionals, we are actually contributing our quota in this regard. Then the other one is about the Digital Transformation Center, Nigeria. Digital Transformation Center is a joint initiative, by the European Union and the German government. It is actually implemented by GIZ. And of course, it supports MSMEs, it supports startups, and also innovation hubs to adopt, secure digital policies. And now, why do these key policies and frameworks for data protection in Nigeria, why do they matter? Why they matter is because trust is actually the currency of the digital economy. Without strong data protection, users and businesses, hesitate to engage online. Of course, yeah. So, and with clear regulations, which empowers businesses to operate confidently, and of course, it helps to avoid legal pitfalls. These are also aspects that we should put into consideration why they really matter. And when you have, these, frameworks, it helps to, align globally, help Nigeria to attract foreign investment and participate in international digital trade. These are some of the reasons why most of these frameworks for data protection in Nigeria, why they actually matter. We all know that trust is the currency of the digital economy. So, and I believe that if Nigeria actually continues strengthening enforcement and expanding education and supporting small businesses, Nigeria could actually become a regional leader in digital trust. So these are some of the key policies and frameworks for data protection in Nigeria and why they actually matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. It is very commendable to know that Nigeria has policies and frameworks in place to ensure that there is compliance for data protection and also cybersecurity. All right, so to our viewers on YouTube, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section. And if there's anyone specifically that you want to address that question, please let us know while we take our concluding questions for our panelists who attend to the questions that you have for us. And don't forget to like our YouTube page, subscribe, and also share with other people so that you can stay up to date with our upcoming webinars. All right, so in conclusion, I would like to ask Dr. Dewale, I know that you have already begun to say something about it, but how can government agencies and professional bodies collaborate to build a more cyber-aware citizenry, especially at the grassroots level?
Okay, yeah, thank you once again. That's a very important aspect because it is actually an important part of our own, at the Institute of Cybersecurity Professionals, it's an important aspect of our, guideline, or it's an important aspect of our initiative in building a cyber-aware citizenry, especially at the grassroots level. Although we know that it requires more than just policies, because it demands collaboration, it demands creativity, and it demands community engagement. Some of the ways that government agencies and professional bodies in Nigeria can join forces to make cybersecurity second nature for everyday citizens. I'll just list them, very few of them. Key strategic collaborations, for cyber awareness. It will involve, number one, the use of joint public education campaigns, public-private, partnership to, co-create, radio, TV, and social media content in local languages. When you co-create, jointly create radio, TV, and social media content in local languages, using of storytelling, drama, and real-life examples to make cybersecurity relatable, very important, and also partnering with influencers and community leaders to amplify cybersecurity awareness. It's very key. I'm talking about, areas where government agencies and professional bodies can collaborate to build a more cyber-aware citizenry. Then, of course, we should look at number two, which is grassroots cyber literacy programs, which involves, launching free workshops in schools, workshops in churches, in mosques, and town halls, training local educators and volunteers as cyber champions, to spread awareness, also including practical topics like safe mobile money use, like social media hygiene and scam detection, grassroots cyber literacy programs. The third aspect is also about, we should look at mobile outreach initiatives, which involve the use of mobile vans, and also maybe pop-up booths to reach remote areas. Still under that, we can use, we can also offer on-the-spot training, digital checkups and free security tools. These are aspects that should be considered. And the fourth one that we should also talk about is integration into national service and vocational training. We should begin to look at embedding cybersecurity modules into NYSC orientation and vocational programs, equipping young professionals with skills to protect themselves and educate others. Very key. Then we should also look at collaborative policy advocacy, using professional bodies to advise on inclusive cybersecurity policies, pushing for incentives like tax breaks or even grants for SMEs, that adopt secure practices. These are very important aspects we should look at. Then, of course, we should also consider cybersecurity clubs and hackathons, encouraging youth participation through school clubs and community competitions, rewarding innovation in local cybersecurity solutions. Very key. And of course, we should look at monitoring and feedback loops, creating platforms for citizens to report cyber incidents and get support, and also using feedback, to refine awareness strategies and address what we call emerging threats. These are some of the, areas, some of the areas where the government agencies and professional bodies in Nigeria can join forces to make cybersecurity second nature for everyday citizens. That means going beyond just policies, but of course, making, putting more effort for collaboration, creativity, and community engagement. So this, what I have to say on this. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Dewale. So the government alone cannot do everything. But there has to be partnership with professional bodies, CSO, and even individuals at the grassroots effort to be able to ensure that we have a more secure cyberspace as a community and also as a state and Nigeria as a whole. All right, so my concluding question for you, Mrs. Priscilla, is as a woman in tech, and I know you do a lot of mentoring and trainings for other people, how can we encourage more women, not just to be confident in their digital lives, but also to take up careers in the cybersecurity space?
Okay, thank you for that question. And thank you because it's directed to women, because I'm pro women, and I'm happy when I see women thrive and succeed in whatever they choose to do. So I would say to encourage women to dive into the cybersecurity space is to say they should not see cybersecurity, because I know that even though times are changing, things are improving now, but I know that there are still people that still have this fear of like the whole science world and IT world is like it's more or less like a man world, or like a male dominated space. No, it's not. I think our voices need to be heard. What we face sometimes online is quite different from what some men face. So I think our voices need to be heard, even in places where policies are made. We need women that can speak up about the kind of unique things that women face. So I want to use this medium to encourage women to not see the cybersecurity space as a space that women cannot come and dominate. I think that we can come in, our voices need to be heard. A lot of, like the last speaker has said, a lot of digital literacy training needs to happen so that people understand at least the basics, like just what we are speaking about today. I don't think what we're talking about today is rocket science. It's what all of us face in one way or the other. So if they are able to attend or listen to things like that, they should be able to maybe find their voices or see how they can contribute to spaces like this. As women as well, I know we need to create a strong network of, women in the IT space or in the tech space where we can come together, speak about our challenges, discuss tech-related issues, and how we can encourage each other in the things that we do. Last year we had the International Women's Day, where together with you, Winifred, we had 30 women who are in the IT space within Plateau State, and we all came. We encouraged ourselves. We talked to each other. We came up with some solutions, and things like that. So places like that where women are encouraged, where we build our strong network, where we build a support group for each other, where we are cheering each other on. I think places like that are very, very good, very useful. Also having a mentor who you are looking up to, who is encouraging you, who is helping you in what you're doing, helps as well as not ensuring that women do not have this imposter syndrome or feeling like they're not qualified enough, or they doubt themselves, they doubt their technical abilities. These are things that we should discourage, and things that if you're in communities like that, like communities like that support women, strong community, we can help, give them the courage and what word do I use? The courage to be able to feel like they are qualified for whatever it is. They have that technical ability to be able to do whatever they want to do as well. So I think we as women, myself, I'm speaking to you also, Winifred, we lead by example in our organizations where we work, where we interact with people. Let's lead by examples. Let's try to encourage, our fellow women, colleagues, and not try to make the workplace like a stifling place, or what's the word I want to use? There's a word I want to use, but make the workplace for your fellow women encouraging, as well as the men as well. But because we're focused on the women, make the workplace encouraging. And, I know you may have younger people coming up under you. Encourage them, let them see your journey, let them see what they can do, and know that they can even surpass what you have done. So create a safe learning space as well. If there are opportunities that we see, let's always share within ourselves. If we see where we can learn, where we need to go to learn to upgrade our skills, or where we can learn online to add to the knowledge that we have, let's be free to share this. I know there are a lot of sayings about women boss or women CEOs and how they can be difficult. We can change the narrative and create a very good working space with women. Also amplifying our voices, using platforms like this that you have provided for people to see that women can speak on topics like this. We're not shy for our voices to be heard, things like that, and just provide any form of support that we can for women in these spaces, or that want to come to these spaces. Go to secondary schools as well. Talk to them about, building a career in tech, and how the tech world is now so big. You must not even be creating apps or softwares or what. You can be a user of that software and be doing something significant in your community. So we can go to schools, encourage girls, let them know the various careers that exist in the tech space and how they can contribute to it. So those are ways I think that we can, as women, help ourselves to ensure that more women are in this tech space, more women are occupying places in the cybersecurity world as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Priscilla. So if you are a woman and you're an aspiring woman in tech watching this webinar, just know that there is still enough room for you in the tech space. You can just begin with a little research on the different careers that exist. And if you are a woman in tech, then you can pay it forward by bringing up another woman, or mentoring and teaching them so that they know that they can as well pick up careers in tech. All right, so thank you very much once again to our panelists for sharing your wealth of knowledge and experience with us today. It's been an interesting conversation and quite educating as well. We have some questions here from our viewers on YouTube. Dr. Adewale, we have somebody that wants to know if he says we are not seeing your face. Is this your own personal way of or a cybersecurity strategy?
Well, I actually apologized from the beginning.
Yes,
but my camera here has been has been acting very funny. But let me just try it again. From the beginning, it was coming. The other time, it was also disappearing. But I can still try it again. So since we are talking about security, okay, I think it's better now, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's better.
It's been off and on.
Okay. Yes, but I'm sure that was on a lighter note.
Okay, yes, it's okay. No
Yes.
problem.
All right.
It's all right.
So we have a question for you here. It says,
Okay.
in your experience, what are the biggest challenges in implementing a zero trust architecture at scale?
At what?
At scale. Okay, let me read it again. In your experience, what are the biggest challenges in implementing a zero trust architecture at scale?
At scale. I didn't get that last word. Is it scale as in
Yes,
S?
scale, yes, like at large scale. Yes, at scale.
Okay, at scale. What are
Yes,
the biggest,
the
what did you call it?
yes, in implementing a zero trust architecture at scale.
Yeah, when you talk about the biggest challenge in implementing zero trust architecture at a large scale, it's still not far from what we have we've talked about from the beginning. We already know that as it is, there is a very wide gap between the demand for cybersecurity specialists and also the supply of cybersecurity professionals. The demand for them and the supply for them, the gap is very, very wide. And of course, that is also a very big challenge. In trying to, reduce that, it will definitely have to do with having a lot of cybersecurity awareness in place. You know, cybersecurity awareness in place must always, be done. Like, this is the Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and that is why I'm also I want to complete. I want to say a very good job from the Plateau State ICTDA for doing this particular program. It's it's still part of public awareness on cybersecurity. Essentials. And if you want to do what we call this zero trust architecture, implementing it on a large scale is going to take a lot of collaborative efforts. You know, collaboration between the government and private sector, collaboration between the government also and professional bodies. You know, and of course, the government on their own are trying. They're doing their own little they can do. Of course, as we have it right now, most universities are beginning to offer cybersecurity courses both at the degree level, master's level, up to the PhD level. And we are beginning to see that the Nigerian Data Protection Commission is also being given all the necessary empowerment tools that is required for them to function effectively. You know, and training of data protection officers also is key. But I also know that there is a lot that will still need to be done. Just 2 days ago, after 5 years of deliberations and negotiation, the United Nations Convention on Cyber Security was signed by so many countries. And of course, that is like the first concerted joint effort by international bodies and countries to actually fight against the cybercrime, because we all know how cybercrime is actually on the rise. And in Nigeria here, I don't want to say that we have been very, very negligent and careless about the need for cybersecurity, but I believe it's also as a result of lack of awareness. But if the awareness is there, I am very sure that we can actually do better. We can make a lot of progress in terms of building, coming up with a robust cyberspace defense from all professionals involved. So of course, it boils down to awareness creation, which we must do on a daily basis. From the Institute here, we organized a free training on cybersecurity awareness. It was a free training for, I think for 2 weekends of Fridays and Saturdays. It was free. And we had more than 400, close to 500 participants that took part in the training. You know, all that was done free. It is still part of our own effort to ensure that the cybersecurity awareness is there. And of course, the government too will still believe that more should be done. like the National Cyber Crime Center, that's the NCCC of the Nigerian Police Force. We call them the Cyber Hawk. They have been doing all they can also. But of course, theirs is into prosecution and what have you. But of course, more still needs to be done because we believe that the Nigerian Data Protection Commission alone will not be enough. We should also have, because we have the Nigerian Cybersecurity strategy, we should have National Cybersecurity Commission also that should be established, all in an attempt to entrench cybersecurity awareness and come up with more participation, more collaboration, so as to at least go a long way in achieving the zero trust. In achieving full confidence and top in the cyberspace. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So we have quite a number of questions, but we may not be able to ask all the questions because we have run out of time. So I'd like to apologize in advance if we are not able to answer your question. All right, so I have two questions and I'm going to throw it at both of you. The first one is for you, Priscilla. Is digital footprint similar to carbon footprint? And then the next question is for you, Dr. Dewale. What cybersecurity certifications would you recommend for beginners?
Okay. Should I start or?
Okay, yes, you can start.
Okay. Cybersecurity certification to recommend for beginners. It's quite simple. You know, we have 3 levels of cybersecurity training and certification. You know, we have the foundation stage training, we have the intermediate level training, and we also have the advanced level training. Some scholars have actually added the expert level training. But of course, for those who are coming in or who may want to come into the field of cybersecurity as beginners, of course, the foundation training is key. Like in our Institute of Cybersecurity Professionals, we have a certification called Certified Cybersecurity Associate. That is CCSA, Certified Cybersecurity Associate. That is a certification that is usually given to those who have taken training, at the foundation level. It covers modules that talks about fundamentals of cybersecurity, looking at the triad of cybersecurity, which is we call it the CIA of cybersecurity. The C is confidentiality, the I is integrity, and the A is the availability. The CIA aspect is a module that is covered at the foundation level. And of course, it also covers every aspect of cyber hygiene, understanding lookalike websites, how to even spot phishing and identifying fake websites and and what have you. And at the end of the day, it is always better to start from there. Most people will see various adverts on cyber security. Sometimes you see adverts on ethical hacking, and somebody says, "Come and do ethical hacking." It is just like jumping into the middle of the river when you don't know how to swim. So it is always advisable to start from the foundation. That is starting to swim from the river banks where it is shallow, so that as you get proficient, you begin to go into the middle of the river. So it's always advisable to start from the scratch, no matter what. And if you have actually acquired some basic knowledge, like computer precision and whatever, you can also go for the intermediate level. At the intermediate level, you also go for the advanced after that. But of course, the most important advice that can be given for a beginner is to start at the foundation level. At the foundation level, you can have certifications. We should begin to look at homegrown certifications. Though we have international certifications that you have to take lectures, take exams, and you go and write the exams. When you pass, you get the certification. The CompTIA Plus, CompTIA A Security, and whatever. All these are international certifications that you can take your training from anywhere and write the exams and pass. But looking at the foundation, if I want to restrict myself to the question that was asked, then of course, the Certified Cybersecurity Associate is the best certification to start with. That is the foundation. And of course, it can even give you an opportunity for entry-level jobs, and at the same time, prepares you for, the big, stages of, the big levels of cybersecurity training that lies ahead, if at all the person wants to progress or continue in that field. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Priscilla, over to you, please.
Okay. For my own question, the person asked about the difference between digital, the similarities or difference in digital footprints and carbon footprint. They are quite different, but somehow they interchange at a point. Your carbon footprint is footprint that is generated as a result of gases. That's the CO2, the greenhouse gas that is emitted, maybe directly by our actions or indirectly by our actions or whatever. Common one is driving a car. The carbon that is released into the atmosphere when you're using your electricity or using your devices, you emit some kind of carbon, whether you're using your television, any form of electricity, you are emitting some form of gases. Even when you grow some kind of plants, it also has some kind of emissions that is released into the atmosphere, as well as production. Maybe companies that produces or manufacture things, they produce some form of carbon that goes into the air. That's a little or quite different. So that's your carbon footprint. That's a carbon footprint that is left on the atmosphere. So that's a little different from your digital footprint, which is the data trail that you use when you are online, when you're using the global internet. So things like you upload your photo, that's a digital footprint. You leave a comment on somebody's page, that's a digital footprint. You post your own, what you have to say on something, it's a digital footprint. You send an email, things like that, those are digital footprint. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I said earlier, your blog comments that you make on people's posts or things like that, please, it's better you do not even leave a comment than you leave a negative comment, because sometimes they come back to hurt you or to harm you. So those are like digital footprints. Where they might somehow come to interchanges, okay, so when you're using these devices, let's say you're using your phone or you're using your laptop to create this digital footprint, you are somehow also emitting carbon into the air, because somehow you are using some form of electricity which emits carbon into the air. So that's where they kind of meet, or that's where like their similarities or whatever happens. So in the form of using your digital devices, you somehow also emit carbon into the atmosphere. So that's the way we like call it a similarity, or where they marry, but they are two different things. I hope I've answered your question.
All right, thank you very much, Priscilla. Thank you very much, Dr. Dewale, for your time and for doing justice to today's webinar. We hope to interact with you in the future. And I also want to thank our viewers on YouTube for taking the time to come and join. And I hope that you have learned and gained one or two knowledge from today's session. We look forward to meeting with you again in the November edition of Plateau Tech Talk, and we hope that you join us. So kindly once again like our page, subscribe, so that you can stay up to date as well. All right, so I will just give both of our speakers just a minute each to give a closing remark, and we'll start with Dr. Dewale.
Yes, thank you very much. To have been part of this program, it's very enriching And I would also want to say that I am very much available anytime, any day. You call upon me in respect of cybersecurity awareness, cybersecurity, and you, I will always be available. I also want to add something very quickly in terms of the zero trust architecture we have talked about. That is also that the biggest firewall or the most important firewall in the cyberspace is you, you, the user, you, the internet user. You are the biggest and the most important firewall. So zero trust architecture starts with you, meaning that whatever thing that comes to you or whatever link or request that is sent your way on the digital space, you have to ensure that you make confirmation. We have seen the level of high and sophisticated threats that is coming up using AI right now. So there's what we call deepfakes. Deepfakes can have to do with cloning of your voice, cloning of your face, your picture, and the person can even be talking to you just the way I'm talking to you in a video. So we should not only be using two-factor notification right now, authentication. We should be using multi-factor authentication. Multi, not just two anymore. So that whatever happens, make sure you confirm from the source. If somebody sends a video or is talking to you via a video and requesting you to make transfers to a specific account, maybe in a company account, and the person appears as your boss and is speaking to you, always ensure that you confirm from your boss. Call the person through a secure line or a private line to confirm. Zero trust, it can be done in the smallest way and even up to the highest level, because cyber crime is getting more sophisticated. Cyber attacks are getting more and more sophisticated. So we have to put all of this into consideration. And of course, I will leave all of us with this notion that cybersecurity is an essential skill for every individual, for everyone, as long as you are using a device, whether it is just a mobile phone. Cybersecurity is essential for you. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
So for me here, I would say before clicking, before posting, before sharing anything online, I want you to just think about three things. First of all, is this information safe for me to share? Is this information safe for me to share? Secondly, could this be used against me? This information, this data I'm sharing, this picture I'm sharing, this thing I'm writing, can it be used against me, whether now, whether in the future? Could it ever be used against me? And then finally, would I say this to the person with my full name attached? Like, will I say this to the person, a live person, with my full name, with my chest? Will I say this to a person when I'm seeing the person face to face? So those are things that we should always think about before we post or before we share, or before we do anything online. Let's be safe out there. Like Sati has said, think before you click. Thank you. It's been wonderful being here.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Priscilla. I would like to apologize. I think we had a bit of a network glitch over here, so I couldn't really hear the concluding part of your closing remark. All right, so I would like to, on behalf of the Director General of the Plateau State ICT Development Agency, Engineer Dominic Waman, thank each and every one of you, especially our panelists, for taking our time to come join us on this month's edition of Plateau Tech Talk. And I also want to thank our viewers for spending this time to learn from our experience panelists today, and we hope to see you again in the November edition of the Plateau Tech Talk webinar series. So it's bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.